Mr. Alan.
Good evening. Good evening.
How are you?
Wonderful. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Yeah. You got your orange shirt on, huh? Your orange sweater. You got your orange sweater.
It's red.
Oh, it's red. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Then Christmas is coming. That's why.
Oh. You ho, huh?
Christmas, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That time of year.
Yeah.
That time of year. Yeah, it's Chutzlortz. Yeah, that's you got to accept that.
I saw an item, don't ask me where. Apparently the Pope spoke terribly against Israel. I mean, you scratched him a little bit on the big anti-Semitic.
Pope is he's no good. This really Pope, yeah, this Pope is a jerk.
None of the good. The only one, the Polish one, was okay, somewhat okay.
What was his name? Benedict?
No, Benedict was a German.
Oh, what was the Polish name?
Paul, what was the name? Paul something.
John, maybe John, huh?
Yeah, right.
I think John, yeah. I think John was, yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, I just set it up here so I can.
I thought you were using an iPad before. You're not using it anymore?
Very rarely. I use my phone all the time. Sometimes I borrow my wife's iPad.
But now you look like you're lying down.
No, the phone is lying because I can't set it up. I'm charging it. I'm charging the phone here.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so
Ernie.
I see stop video on the bottom. Stop video.
And then you say end all, because you're going to be the host. I don't know if you can do it today, but we'll try it because I'm the host.
I see on the bottom it says stop video. So you want me to? Okay.
Stop and then you end. There's a button that says end session.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
32.
I think the Mishnah, no? Bava Kama Daf 31b.
Yeah.
So we left off. Yeah.
Lamed Aleph, Amud Beis.
Yeah, Mishnah.
31b.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Zeh Bava Chaviso v'zeh Bava Karaso. These are people walking in the Rishus Harabim in opposite directions. That means they're walking towards each other. Nishbra kadosh zeh b'karash zeh. If the beam hits the barrel and breaks it, potter, because they both have rishus to be there. Shalazeh rishus lahalech, v'lazeh rishus lahalech. However, sorry,
where are we?
31b, Lamed Aleph Amud Beis.
The Mishnah.
In the base of the Mishnah. Okay.
Zeh Baba Chaviso v'zeh Baba Kara. Okay. Lamed Aleph Amud Beis 31b, the Mishnah. Zeh Baba Chaviso v'zeh Baba Karaso. In the Rishus Harabim, one is carrying a beam, one is carrying a barrel, and they're walking towards each other. Nishbro kadosh zeh b'karash zeh. And the one carrying the beam breaks the guy's barrel. Potur. Each has the same permission to be in the Rosh Hashanah. However, the guy carrying the beam is in front, and a guy carrying a barrel is behind him, and they're walking. If the barrel gets broken by the beam, potter balakoira. If they're both walking, because they both have rishus to walk there. However, if suddenly im amad balakoira, if the guy in front carrying the beam stops suddenly, and the guy behind crashes into his beam and breaks the barrel, chayiv. So that's not like Walter was saying in American law, if somebody stops and if you run into him,
you're at fault.
Well, it's similar. You're at fault. And here also, if the guy in front comes to a stop suddenly and breaks the guy's barrel with the beam, he's also chayiv. So it's similar. However, imamar labal chavis amod, if the person carrying the beam calls out, I'm about to stop, and gives warning, then potur. So, if the guy in the front has stopped and he's flashing a red light that he's at a stop, a guy crashes into him, I'm not sure he'd be chayiv. I don't know what the law is in America.
No, the law is that you're always chayiv if you smash into somebody in front of you, and the law is the guy
who's the guy behind.
The guy who smashed into him. Basically, it doesn't matter if the guy stopped suddenly, had his lights on, didn't have his lights on. Even you want to know something, even if somebody reverses into you, I once had that, a guy reversed in front of Starbucks into my car, right?
Yeah,
Then,
Walter's at fault.
They came to me that you're at fault. Luckily, I had witnesses to say that the guy actually reversed into my car.
So really the law of the Mishnah is opposite, because here they're saying the guy in front is chayiv, not the guy in back. Meaning, if the guy comes to a stop suddenly and the guy behind crashes into him, the guy in front is chayiv, says the Mishnah. Not like, I guess, the law here. So the law here is somebody comes to stop quickly and you crash into him, the guy behind is responsible?
Yes.
Okay, it's opposite to logic.
It even goes further than that. If there's a chain reaction, right? Everybody who's sitting behind the next person is chayav to the person in front of them.
The law of the Mishnah,
that's the law.
Mishnah makes more sense.
Huh?
The law of our Mishnah makes more sense, because the guy, remember, if they're both walking and the beam happens to break the barrel, the guy carrying the barrel should have watched out. Then they're potter. Nobody's chayiv in that case. It's just if the guy in front comes to a quick stop and the guy behind crashes into him and his barrel is broken, the guy in front is chayiv to pay. That's the law of the Mishnah. And in fact, however, if he calls out and says, I'm about to stop, potter. Now the opposite. The person who's carrying the barrel is in front, and the person carrying the beam is behind. And the guy behind walks into the barrel with the beam. The guy behind is chayiv. If Amad Bal Chavis, if the guy in front comes to a sudden stop and the guy behind crashes into him, potter.
Mm-hmm.
The Bal Koira doesn't have to pay. Im Amar LeBal Koira Amod, But if he told the guy behind him that I'm coming to stop, and the guy kept on going and he broke it, then he's chayiv. The same halacha applies not just with a beam and a barrel, but with text, garment and a fire. The same halacha. Boimine Rabba Bar Nosson Rav Huna. Hamazik is ishto b'toch k'dei tashmish amita mahu. Husband and wife are having relations, and the husband damages his wife. Kivin shebersush ka'avid potter. He's allowed to have relations with her. So it's like the two people walking in the Rosh Hashanah, and if there's damage, they're potter. Or no, he should be more careful. So Amrlei Tanisua, we learn it from our Mishnah that two people walking in the Rosh Hashanah, and the beam breaks the barrel, potter lalach. So since a husband has permission to have relations with his wife, if he happened to damage her, he's potter. However, there are those who disagree. Amar Rava, Kal v'chomer, that the husband really should pay damages from a Kal v'chomer, that somebody who kills b'shogeg, where it says Asher yavo et re'eu bayar lachtov eitzim. If he goes into the forest to cut trees, v'nashala barzel min ha'etz u'matzas re'eu v'meiz, swinging the axe, and the sharp piece comes off and kills somebody in the forest. So you have to go to Golus. Both people have the same permission to go into the forest.
This is the case when he throws the axe back, right?
Correct. That's just
Okay.
a technical detail that if you come down and then it flies off, that's called Korav Lamezi, and
Mhm.
you don't go into Golus. But the limud is like this. Umayar shezel reshus nichnas v'zel reshus nichnas. Nasa kamish nichnas reshus chaveru v'chayev. The Torah puts the murderer as if he walked into his neighbor's backyard. So similarly, Zeh, the husband, shelo reshus chaveru nichnas. Basically, he entered the reshus of his wife. So lo kol shekain, certainly he should be chayav for any damages he caused his wife. Elahak tani shelazer reshus lalech lezel reshus lahalech. What about our Mishnah? That you're potter if you both have reshus. So Rava will say there's a difference. Hasum tarvayu kadodinim. When the guy with the barrel and the guy with the beam are walking in the Rosh Hashanah, they're equal. Each one has the same activity. Hacha iyu ka'avid. In sexual relations, it's only the Baal that's doing a Maisa. Hacha iyu ka'avid Maisa. The active Bia, it's really, she's passive. She's called Karka Oilam. So he's chayiv because it was his Maisa. Freit Gemara v'hilo. What? She's not considered v'aksiv. In the prohibited relations, it says, V'nichresu anefashos ha'osos mikerav hamam. That's referring both to the man and the woman, that they did something. So pleasure derives to both of them. So she's punished when an aver is committed. But regarding Maisa and damages, he's the one who does the Maisa, and he is there for Chai. We paskin that way. A mazik is ishto betash v'shamita Chai v'niskel. Hayabal koy rishon. We said if the guy carrying the beam was in front and the guy carrying the barrel was behind. So Amrei Shlokish, shtei poros b'shus.
Sorry, Ernie, just let me ask you a question. What about Ishto Kegufo? In other words, he's damaging her. She's like his goof. So why should he pay damages?
I mean, she's another person. She's a physically separate.
So why do we say Ishto Kegufo? You know, there's the whole thing when you people benching and all kinds of things that make up this thing. Ishto Kegufo. So then
No, Ishto Kegufo in certain halachas, but not with Nezikin. Nezikin, she's a separate person. And if you broke her arm, you'd be chayiv in nezek, tsar, shevis, and ripuy. Now, you'd also be chayiv boishes if you had kavana. Here during Tashmish, there's no boishes because you had no kavana to be massacred. So, Ishto Gugufo is said during.
But what about honest Rahmana Patre? Maybe it was honest.
But what was that? But remember,
maybe it's honest. Honest Rahmana Patre.
He said you should have been more careful. You should have been more careful.
Yeah, it's not. This is an accident. Accident is a house collapses or something.
I bet. Come on. He damaged it. He didn't do it all. He wanted to have a good time with his wife.
But we learned shogeg mezid ones rotzon. You still have to pay damages, unless it's complete oinus. This is not oinus. They did a maisa, and he was careless with maisa.
You would know more about those things.
Obviously, if she got damaged, it was beyond normal. Normal activity.
Well, so it depends on the beam.
What was that?
No, the Morris says he should have been. No, he should have been more careful by that. It says so, Yomi boy. He should have been more careful. That's what the Gemara says.
Yeah.
That's why he should have been more careful.
It's not oinus. Oinus, we talked about somebody slips. Remember, we had a whole this.
Yeah, I understand, but it's just okay.
They're actually doing a mice. It has nothing to do with. He has no kavanah to be massacre, but that's
so
that doesn't make you an oin. That's not an oinus. Oinus is an accidental event.
This is maybe in the heat of passion. This is different. It's an anos because it's passion. Okay,
Not considered oinus. If it would be oinus, he wouldn't be chayav.
I got it. The halacha is not like what I'm talking about. So obviously, I'm not wrong. I'm not saying. Just asking a kasha.
You're asking a good kasha because it's helping us to define oinus carefully. We've done it each time when we thought slipping. Remember when you slip in a street? So that was already machlokes. Rab Meir and the Chachami. Rab Meir holds like you that's oinus and oinus rachmana patre. Rab Meir said, no, he's a posheya. He should have seen where he's going. He tripped. So he's negligent. And that's not considered oinus. So that's already a machlokes tanoi. There's no machlokes regarding this.
Yeah, but we learned over there the derech of walking for a person is to walk with your eyes up. You're not looking down. And derech of an animal, if you look at an animal walks with their eyes down. So that's, okay.
So Rab Meir doesn't agree with you. Reb Meir says you have to look down and be careful. And if you don't, if
you look down, you can bump into somebody, have an honest the other way.
So you have response. You have a chrayas
To look down and up. One eye for looking down, one eye for looking up. I understand. Absolutely. Rosh Hashiva used to say the reason we got two eyes is one eye is to look out, one eye is to look in, not to look down and up.
Now you have up and down, and you have a new
Sure.
Torah.
I
You have a new Torah, not later.
understand.
Okay. The Rishonim learn here that the Ish is the one who's doing the Maisa, and the Isha's Karka Oilam, she's passive. Even though he's doing it Bereshus, he has a choiv to be careful and to be lizoher and not to damage her. Okay. On Reish Lakish Shtei Poros B'Shus HaRabbi. Achas Revutza, one is lying down. Lachas Maleches, one is walking. Wata Maleches Revutza, the one who's walking, he's allowed to walk there. So if he walks and he kicks the one that's on the ground, Ptura. Wata Revutza B'Maleches, the one that's lying down, kicks or bucks the one who's walking, chayeves. Lema misayele. Let us say that our Mishnah supports this. Hayabal korishon bal chavis acher. Nishbra chavis b'kor potter. The carrier of the beam is in front, and the barrel gets broken. They're potter because they both had rishus. Im omad bal koire, if the guy carrying the beam stopped suddenly, chay. So it's similar kiravutza that kicked the maleches dummy, because the balachavis is the one who's walking, and the one carrying the beam stands in place like the revutza. Uktani chayiv. So the Gemara says it's not a support. The tizbra, it's not the same thing. In fact, hasiyu boy, lo mistayed lo mis, not only doesn't help, makshanami kasha, it asks a kasha. Why? Taima the boata. Why are you chayiv? Because the revutza that was lying there kicked it. But let's say it just lied there. Chaim huska memela, if the animal walking tripped over it, potter. Vahamas nisan shememela, that the damage that happened to the barrel is also that just happened. The Baal Koira, the one carrying the beam didn't do anything actively. Uktani chayiv. So it's a kasha. So the Gemara says there's no kasha. Masnisan de paskalorcha kishalta. We're talking about when the guy carrying the beam came to a stop, he was blocking the width of the road with his beam. And the Baal Chavis had no alternative to get damaged. That's why he's chayiv. When it's only memela. But hacha, in the case of Reish Lakish, you go to Rava b'chadisa. The animal, the cow lying in the street, wasn't blocking the whole street. There was a way around it. And the other cow could have walked the other way. So there's no raya or stira. Ella, seifa de masnis mesaila Reish Lakish. The seifa is supportive. Diktani. Hayabal chavis. The one carrying the barrel was first, Rishon. Uba koira achron. The guy carrying the beam was second. We said nishbar chavis b'koira chayev. If the one behind with the beam isn't careful, breaks the barrel, he's chayev. But im amad bal chavis, if the guy in front comes to a sudden stop, and that's why the beam broke it, potter. V'hahacha kimalechas bervutzadami. This is like the case when the animal is walking sort of kicks the Ravutza, which we learned was Potter, which is support to Rish Lakish. So the Gemara says that's not a Raya either. The reason why our Mishnah says it's Potter is because he was walking normally. And even so, the barrel got damaged. But Hacha, in the case of the two cows, Amarle, the owner of the cow that was lying down, that got kicked by the cow that was walking, could say, yeah, you have reshus to walk here, to kick my animal, and that's why it's different. Mishnah. Two people walking. One running and one walking. Because they both have reshus to do whatever they're doing in Rishus Harabim. But the Gemara says, Masnisim, the look of Isi ben Yehuda, the tiny Isi ben Yehuda, Omer Ratz, Chayiv. You're not supposed to run. He changed the normal activity in Rishus Harabim. However, Moidi Isi Be'erev Shabbos, Ben Hashmoshes Shupot. You're allowed to run to receive the Shabbos Ben Hashmoshes. Rav Yochanan Isi ben Yehuda. Fragt more, Rav Yochanan Hachi? Rav Yochanan Halacha is Stam Mishnah. Rav Yochanan says Halacha is like an anonymous Mishnah. Utnan Echad Ratz Vechad Mahalech Oshayu Shnein Ratzim Pturin, which is our Mishnah. So Masnisan is Be'erev Shabbos Ben Hashmoshes when they had Rishus. Mimai Midiktoni Oshayu Shnein Ratzim Pturin. You said if both were running, they're potter. Hasulamali. Now that seems superfluous. Hashta echad ratz v'echad malach. If one's walking and one's running, even so, the one running is potter. So shneim ratzim a boy. So there's certainly no shaila if both of them are running. Elohachi kam. This is how you have to understand it. Echad ratz v'echad malach potter. One's running, one's walking potter. When? The guy who's running has rishus. On Monday, Tuesday, the guy who's running and damages the guy walking, he'd be chay. And Shnei and Ratzin feel b'chol p'turim. Okay. Amar Mar. Umodi isi v'erev Shabbos ben Hashmoshes potter. And they sharatz b'rishus. They have permission erev Shabbos. Be'erev Shabbos, my b'rishus, what rishus? Rav Chanina, Shom Rav Chanina, Bo v'neitzei likras kala malkasa. When they were makabel, this is the source for Kabbalah Shabbos and the source for Lechadoidi, that they used to go out in the fields to greet the Shabbos kala. Va'amri la likras Shabbos kala malkasa. Rav Yana Hayim Esatev, he would put on a talis, the koi, and go out. The Omar boy chala boy chala. One second. A person's chopping wood in the Rishus Harabim. The hizik b'Rishus HaYochid. A splinter goes flying into the Rishus HaYochid and does damage. Or he's chopping b'Rishus HaYochid. The hizik b'Rishus Harabim. And it goes flying to Rishus Harabim. Or he's chopping wood in his backyard. B'Rishus HaYochid. The hizik b'Rishus HaYochid acher. And a splinter flies into his neighbor's backyard. In all these cases, chay. Utsricha, I needed to be taught in all cases. If he was chopping in a private domain and it didn't damage Rishus Harabim, he has achrayas because he knows there's a lot of people there. There's not a lot of people who should say Yachid, aim alone. Maybe he's not responsible. Maybe you're chayiv because you really didn't have permission to chop wood in the Rishus Rabbi. You can do whatever you want in your backyard. You might think that you're potter. No. Right? Law, you have to be careful. If I have these two cases, so you know that the Rishus Rabbi has people. And the guy chopping in Rishus Rabbi has no permission. Now, in both of these places, lo shchichi rabbi, there's not a lot of people there. Umikar b'shus, and you're allowed to chop wood in your backyard. So aim alone. Maybe I would think he's not responsible. So I have to be told tzricha that you're responsible in all the cases. Ton Rabbana, hanichnas lechanusu shel nagar shelo b'shus. You walk into a carpenter's shop without his permission. V'nitza bikas, and a splinter flew v'tafchas upon of a mace, hit him in the face, and he died. Potter. We mean potter. We'll see in a minute. V'im nichnas b'shus, if the carpenter gave him permission to come in, and then the splinter hit his face, and he died, chayiv. And what are we talking about here? My chayiv. In the case where if he came in without permission, then you're potter from galus, we're talking about when he died, and you're potter from any damages. If you gave him permission to come in and you weren't careful and you damaged him, chayiv ba'arba dvorim, nezek tzar rifu v'sheves, you're potter from galus. Lefisha ein doime leyar. Private store is not like a forest. Yar zer l'rshus nichnas v'zer l'rshus nichnas. A forest belongs to everybody. Both have equal permission to go into the forest. Zeh l'rshus chavero nichnas. Guy walked in without permission into a carpenter's store, didn't have permission. So therefore he's not chayiv galus. Amar Rava, what do you mean? We have a kal v'chomer that he should go into galus. Umayar shezela daito nichnas v'zela daito nichnas. Each one went into the forest with their own das without telling the other person. And the other person doesn't know who's there. And he didn't get permission one way or the other. Nasa kamisha nichnas l'das chaveru. But the Torah, when he makes you go into galus, it's as if you're in his rishus, if a gola. So zesh l'das chaveru nichnas. So the carpenter sees him there. Lo kol shekain, that he should go into galus. El Amar Rava, my potter mi galus. It's not like we've been saying shlosagi lebe galus. Galus is not enough kapora. Hainu tam Rav Yossi bar Chanina, who patters him from galus b'shum da'avale shoygei korav lemezi. When you let somebody come in, it's shoygei korav lemezi. Galus is only mechaper. It's got to be a complete shoygei. It's shoygeg. You don't go to galus if it's shoygeg korav lemezi. Like I explained, if the blade flies off on the way down, it's not enough. You don't go to galus. So Masif Rava, somebody who was supposed to get malchus, and the guy giving malchus, hoisif lo amalke ritzua achas umeis. Bezin said, you give him 10, and you gave him 11. Harei goy lo yodo. The executioner, not the executioner, the guy who gives malchus has to go to galus. The boy asuki adaiti the ma'asin shebechad ritzua. You have to be careful, and you should have a havamina that I was told to give him 10. I gave him 11. So it's certainly Shogeg Korv Lamezi should be potter from Golus as well. Uktani Areza Goyla. Amrav Smim in Arda, Toy Biminyana. He was supposed to, he lost count. So it's really a Shogeg. He thought it was 10 and it was really 11. Tofachle Rava Besandele. Rava hit Rav Simi with his sandal. Amrlu Atu Hamani. What do you mean? The guy giving Malchus doesn't count. Vatanya Godel Bedayon in Kore. The head of the Bezdin counts, says 1. Asheni Mona. No, the head of the Dayanim read the Psukim. And then the second Dayan counts. Vashlishi says he ko. So it's not that the same guy is the one who counts. The Dayan lost count. And the one who was giving Malchus should have kept his own private count. He wasn't careful, and he gave an extra 1. So that's a complete shoygig. Meisve. Hazarkas Evanushus Arabim Vaharag. A person throws a stone into the Rishus Arabim and he kills somebody. Hareza Goyla. You go into Golus. Vahacha shoygig karvla mezeru. The boy lasuki adaite Rishus Arabim shchichi, and she. Person should realize that there's people there. Why isn't this considered shogeg karv lemezid and should be potter? Yet, uktani areza goyla. Amar shlomer Yitzchak, besoiser is koisla. Person's knocking down a wall. It's not throwing stones of Shisarabim. He's demolishing a wall, and the stones fall into Shisarabim. So that's not lemezid. He wasn't trying to throw something to somebody. Still says the Gemara, Yuni. You should see what he's doing, that there's no people there. It still should be considered Karv Lamezi. And for the Gemara, Besoiser Balayla. So, Balayla Nami at night you should check what you're doing as well. So, Besoiser is Koisel Beyom La Ashpa. Your wall is on the border with the garbage dump. There's no people there. And that's why you didn't expect Rabim, and you should consider it a shoykik. So the Gemara wants to know how Ashpa Hechi Dami. Idish Chichi Rabim, if there were a lot of people there, then he's amazing. Or at least Korav amazing. The Ilosh Chichi Rabim Onusu. Oh, that would be considered an accident. Why would he all of a sudden think that there are people there? It's not a shogeg. That would be an onus. This garbage dump gets emptied out by people at night. But they don't do it in the daytime. Some go to the bathroom there, even in the daytime. So mezid lo hava. In general, people didn't use it for a bathroom. There are people who do come to go to the bathroom there. So he's considered a shogeg, and he's chayv goals. Now, Rav Papa, Mishmeid Rav Masala Reisha, they learn differently. Person walked into a carpenter's store without permission. Vinitzlo bikas, and a splinter flew v'tavchol upon of l'meis and hit him in the face. He died potter. Rav Yossi Bar Chanina chayiv barbet for him. He's chayiv to pay damages, but potter from golus. Man de masla seifa. The one who learns this statement on the Seifa, who went in Rishus, so Koshekin Aresha, if he went in without Rishus, that the guy would be potter from goats. However, Man de Masla Aresha, the one who learns this on the Reisha, Avala Seifa, where is a case of the carpenter gave the guy Rishus to come in, then Chayiv Golos. He would be Chayiv to go into Golos. Umi Chayiv Golos? Is he Chayiv Golos if he came in Bershus Vatanya? Anichnas l'chanusu shel nafach v'nitza nitzos v'tap kol apanav umeis potter v'afilu nichnas Bershus. Och ma'askinon b'shul yidinafch. It's his assistant who came into the store. What, he does, we don't, there's no punishment if you kill the assistant? You're not allowed to kill him. The master was yelling at him to get out. Still, you still can't kill him because they didn't want to go out. So Kisvor, the blacksmith, thought Sheyotza. And that's what, but he didn't go out. Why do you call him Acher now? Why do you call him somebody else? No, excuse me. Why then, if that's the case, why do you talk about the guy's assistant? Should be anybody. So Acher Leslie Emsidera. Somebody else isn't under the threat and the fear of the guy who's his his apprentice. And a regular, but the apprentice has fear. Okay. Tomorrow, tomorrow 7:15. And then the Tzurba will be at 8:00.
I still understand why he has to be Daled Devorim if he comes into his house without permission. I mean, if he gets, it's like if I have a boar in my property and a guy comes in and gets damaged by it, I say I'm chayav. Looks like I'm chayav. Why would it be chayav? He didn't invite him in. He didn't invite him in.
He doesn't even know he's there. He didn't walked in. Shalom b'shus.
I know. So why would he be chayav Daled
He's
Devorim?
Potter. He's Potter.
No, because you're chayav Daled Devorim. What's the case you're chayav Daled Devorim but not Golas?
Potter.
Supply here. What Magilus is?
Hanichnas lechanuso shel nagar shelo b'shus.
Yeah.
Because the tapcha panavu meis Potter.
No, you're Potter from Golas, but you're chayav Daled
Potter from the
Devorim.
Arba Dvorim.
Why are you chayav Daled Devorim though?
Potter from Arba Dvorim. Somebody walks, a carpenter's hacking, and his splinters fly. A guy walks in without telling anybody, and he gets killed. Why is his responsibility?
I know. So you're not chayav Golas, but you doesn't say.
You're not chayav Devarim, Elazar.
You're not chai for the Arba Dvorim.
Then I read it wrong. It's not
The
chayav.
second case,
Yeah.
im nichtas shus chai.
Yeah, of course. If you have okay, without permission. No.
Then Amrav Yossi chai for Arba Dvorim.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, well, with permission. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Everything.
I read it wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Shkoyach.
Shkoyach. Yeah.
Turn off the recording.
Yeah.
Okay, stop video
Okay.
and say leave.
End.
There is no end here. I'm sorry.
Well,
don't-
leave
where do you-
everybody.
Where do you see end? It says leave. It says leave.